first time I've done that too. Right, so urine contamination treatment. We've all been to that job where there are old marks from either where a tenant or perhaps a previous owner of the house has had a bit of a wayward dog, and if anybody's had a dog or a cat, they know that it just happens sometimes, accidents. Some of the products that we're going to run through today appear to be really, really good at dealing with older marks. Some of the products have quite a strong chemical action, and we probably focus on the ones that have multiple actions, so they'll work on odours as well as dealing with colour. Whereas when I first started, you kind of dealt with those things quite separately. So I was hoping to have one of our customers have a bit of a talk about a couple of jobs that he'd done, because he's had quite good success with Unduzit Unleashed, and he's quite very pleased with the way that it works. So we'll run through a video shortly. My first video talking to camera and things like that, it's pretty hard to do, but good fun, and I'm hoping you get some good ideas out of it. So when I first started running my own business, I can remember one of the first urine jobs I ever went to was really just treated with deodorizers, so kill odor citrus, because it didn't appear to be too much colour on the top, but the odour from an older cat was a real problem. So treating the surface, treating the back of the carpet, cleaning both sides, rolling back the carpet, removing the underlay, and in the end on that job, I can remember we ended up doing everything, replacing the underlay. They painted the floor to try and seal it in. And it was still a little bit of a problem by the time I'd finished, but much better than what it was. So the customer was relatively happy. I guess the first thing you want to do when you go to a job, if there is a urine sort of odour problem or lots of marks or things, is perhaps finding out from your customer just what they want done. You know, if they want the marks treated, that's all good. But if they've got a specific odour problem, then you perhaps need to be aware of that too. So doing that pre-inspection and asking the customer what they'd like done is most important. I'm guessing that some of you have come across a problem where you've gone into a house and it's not so bad, but when you apply moisture with your pre-sprays and standard cleaning chemicals, detergents, sometimes that can make the smell worse, and 2 days later the odor can still be there. So being a little bit careful if you smell anything when you go into a job is probably the best way to start. But asking your customer what problems she has or he has, and doing that full pre-inspection of the properties, probably the best way to start. One thing that I can remember with that first job that I did was asking the customer, how much cost were they willing to bear, because when you start getting into cleaning both sides of the carpet and removing the underlay and painting the floor and all those sorts of stuff, the costs become quite high. Technology is a little bit better now. We have ozone machines to use for odor. The new hydroxyl machines are supposed to be very, very good for those sorts of odors. Does everybody here know what a hydroxyl machine is? Yeah, so a few people are nodding heads there. Maybe we might send you out an email on those machines as well. We've got a few of them stacked up here, but they use like a UV light to recreate what sunlight does. It all sounds a bit sort of crystal new age kind of, but it uses UV light, natural sunlight, replicates natural sunlight to remove odors. Where we see, so if you're rolling back carpet, removing underlay, sometimes even in just one room, you can end up spending thousands of dollars. And you can still have a problem if you're not sealing the floors, and sometimes it might just be cheaper to remove everything, get an ozone or a hydroxyl machine in there and replace the carpet. So yeah, understanding how much your customer will want to spend is probably a big thing. Like I said, some of the deodorizers that I used to use used to be pretty good at countering odor, but when you still had trace amounts of moisture in there and those urine salts were still giving off an odor, trying to counter that odor was very, very difficult. So as I say, some of the newer treatments like Urine Rescue, urine neutralizer, those are things that envelop those urine salts and either remove them or stop them from smelling. They're all fantastic products. And I think both Urine Rescue and Urine Neutralizer will work on colour too. So they have some pretty good actions at getting rid of colour. I'm going to show a video shortly, which is on using the Unduzit Unleashed. I can't say that I've actually used that product in a job myself, which is why I was hoping that Ruan from AJET was going to be here to tell us a little bit about that. But using it and listening to other people talk about what that product does, it seems really good. I know Dion, you've used the Unduzit Unleashed, and I'm sure Josh and Amanda have as well. So there's a few people here who've used it, and I'm sure they wouldn't continue to use it if they felt it didn't work. So perhaps I'll shoot through to the video. It's about 6 minutes long. It was my first talking to camera, so excuse me if I make any mistakes, and we'll have a little bit of a chat about that in 6 minutes time after we're all back. So bear with me while I get this organized here.
No, it's not.
Hi, I'm Paul Allen, instructor and customer support person here at Cleaning Systems in East Tamaki in Auckland. Today we're going to run you through a product which is used for urine contamination treatment. The product's called Unduzit Unleashed, and it works in two ways. It will remove stains and remove odour. You can see here in the tray we have a 100% woolen carpet that we've spilt some tonic water on. What you will know is that quinine in tonic water reacts the same way as any sort of proteins, such as urine. In an ordinary household situation, you'll need low light conditions and a black light to help you find any marks that pets or maybe even somebody with an incontinence problem have left you behind on your carpet. So I'll go and turn the lights off and I'll show you what it looks like under the black light. Right, so we've dimmed the lights a little to make it a little bit more romantic, and you can probably see in the tray there that it's still a little bit damp, so it's relatively easy to see without the light. But I'm hoping that this is going to show up onto the monitor there. You can see the outline of the mark itself, almost a fluorescent colour. Right, so for the application of the product, there are different mixing rates, but using it neat is probably the best way to do it if you're pouring on in a situation like this. And remember that you will need to leave it on for an hour. So when you get there, if this is the treatment you're going to do, mark out that spot, get and do this first before you set up your machine and all that sort of stuff, or sit down and have a cup of tea with the customer. That's always a nice thing to do. So application, quite simple. Like most spot treatments, the method nowadays is to form a ring around the outside of the mark. As I say, we're using a jug here today. Some people use a bucket. Some people will use a watering can to do large areas. Yeah, so around the outside of the mark first. They can just help with transfer of whatever you're trying to treat. And there we go. Sit back and relax for an hour, and then we'll come back and do the extraction. Right, so we've saturated the carpet and pad, or underlay as we call it in New Zealand. Don't be concerned about over-wetting anything, because what we're going to use to extract this product and the urine, salts and stains, we're going to be using a water claw. If you're serious about flood restoration extractions and treating marks like this, a water claw is absolutely invaluable. They have smaller models which you can use for smaller marks like this. Today I'm going to be using a large unit, which is an awesome tool to have in your toolkit, as I say, for if you're extracting floods or dealing with larger marks like this. Right, so hopefully you can hear me over the top of the 500-pound Ninja, which we're going to use to extract this today. If you've not used a water claw before, they are a great tool for extracting water. If you were doing flood work, you'd be standing on it at the same time, and there's an awful lot coming out of there. One thing I have noticed is that it's foaming quite a bit, so maybe an anti-foamer in your hoses back to the machine's a good idea. And if you can, leave an air mover on the job. If it's just a small mark like this one here was, tripod's an excellent machine for that. Well, we're all packed up, of course, because Unduzit Unleashed does not require any rinsing afterwards. It continues to work. I hope you enjoyed our little video today, and we hope to have a few more up over the coming months. Subscribe to our channel and you'll get notifications when they come through. Thanks very much for watching.
Well, I'm hoping you all enjoyed that as much as my flatmates did. They thought it was just hilarious with me wandering around talking to camera like some sort of a news agent or something like that. I guess we might open it up. Does anybody have any questions there about that video that we all watched? Was that sort of the same way that you do your own jobs? Do you have any other little tricks?
You mentioned that it's best to use it neat. So when you were pouring it on with the jug, were you using a like neat version there, or had you diluted that a little bit?
I had diluted that a little bit. Yeah, I had. Yeah, we're trying to save coin here at Cleaning Systems. No. I only had so much in the test bottle in the cabinet there. Yeah, no, so good. I actually did that take twice, so there were different reasons for that. It was I should have a blooper reel on the end of this. It would be a bit of a laugh for everybody. Did you notice perhaps it wasn't as thick and it didn't foam? Was there something that made you think that it wasn't full? And your own usage of it, Dylan? Is it reacted differently?
Oh, no, not at all. I just curious, like, because you did mention it, that it could be diluted, but then I wasn't sure, obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah.
From the instruction videos that I've watched, from the sellers, or the manufacturers of the product, we should say, they always recommend using it neat. And I'm guessing, look, the customer's paying for it, and you make them aware of how much that product that you're pouring all over the floor is costing. They want to get rid of the marks, they want to get rid of the odor, so make them aware of the cost and charge accordingly. I think that's the way to do it. Yeah. I do find there are a few people who perhaps try to skimp on chemicals, which is not a very good way to do it in your own business. All those chemicals are made at mixing ratios for a reason, and a lot of the things that I say aren't really pure salesmanship. They just want to see a job done properly, like your customers. Anybody else with any questions from that? No, all good. One thing that I did say in the end was about the no rinsing. Doing a bit more research online, some people say that it should be, but this is the I can't see the carpet. This is the carpet here that we used, and I can't see any marks on it, and it doesn't really appear to have any sticky residue. So, Dylan, when you've used it, have you rinsed off afterwards, or have you just extracted?
No, I actually haven't used that product myself personally. So sorry, I can't comment on that.
Right, Josh and Amanda might be able to answer that. Do you guys normally rinse off afterwards, a light rinse on the top?
We normally do. We do a lot of rentals, empty rentals. So it's not normally we're treating one spot as such. It's more generically over the whole carpet. So
gotcha. We
generally don't leave it on it. We leave more of a deodorizer on it than but we certainly put it on neat. And first thing we do, I tend to probably extract it first if it's get some of the worst of the smell on that out, rather than pushing it back into the backing of the carpet with extra water. Get the worst of it out, and then saturate it, and then pull it out that way.
Yeah, some of the other suggestions I've seen have definitely said about rinsing it first. I'm guessing that shouldn't affect the efficacy of the product itself if there's a little bit more moisture there. What else can we go to from here? Browning treatments were what I used to use a lot of in the early days for trying to get rid of marks like that, but they weren't really that good. So I'm quite pleased there are some new products to sort of help you through those things, and of course it's more margins for you. The better job you do, the more you can charge, which is perhaps what we're all here for. So just one of the takeaways from that video is that maybe rinsing sometimes might be a good idea afterwards. But as I say, on that 100% woolen carpet that I used for the demo, didn't really have a rinse on it. We used put the product on. So other things, what we can go to. So Unduzit Unleashed, that's available now. We've got plenty of that in stock if you want to get that into your cabinet if you already haven't got it. The other things that's coming shortly is a product from Hydromaster. I don't know if anybody uses Hydromaster products here. Anybody used a Hydromaster product at all? I was quite keen on that. I used to use rinsers and pre-sprays from Hydromaster. I always found them really, really good products. Nice odors and good soil removal from a detergent and pre-spray. I found them quite good. They have a product called Odor Slayer, which is coming in, which doesn't need the same length of dwell time. Your Unduzit Unleashed is an hour. We're having a few problems trying to get that product out of the States at the moment. I think there's some small bottles coming shortly, and bigger bottles maybe at the end of November or something like that. So that's we might send you out a little reminder notice on that. So for today, there's some discounts available. Just trying to see that. So all the products that we've sort of talked about, and there's quite a long list of it. We might send you a quick email out about that as well. So all the products that we're talking about today have a 20% discount on it, which is, you know, better than a kick in the pants. It might be time to stock up, fill up your cabinet a little bit for the Christmas rush, because the dog's getting stuck inside and maybe making a bit of a mess. It seems to me like every second household has a puppy at the moment too. Anybody got a new dog over the last little while? Seems to be a popular thing to do. Well, I think I've probably gone through most of the things. Anybody else got any other questions there? Nope. All good. No other questions.
Yeah,
Sean.
yeah, thank you. So you just showed us the products being used from the video, which is obviously a good way to get it treated. And also you're talking about the brine treatment, which is, you know, brilliant ideas. We currently using the products from cleaning systems. Got a two different version. One will be the urine neutralizer. Another one is kind of like sitting in the either white or black bottles.
Is that like hydrogen peroxide or was it
Exactly.
specific? Yeah, hydrogen peroxide.
Yeah.
That you'll I think you'll find that both the Odor Slayer and the Unduzit Unleashed would have hydrogen peroxide or something similar. And you know, it's a really good product for getting rid of stains and also lots of what they call surfactants in those products to help it get into those sort of urine salts and remove the cause of that odor as well. It's not Urine Rescue you're using, is it Urine Neutralizer?
To both, but for the urine utilizer, sometimes is kind of like have like strong smells, and then mixing up with the urine smells, and often get complained by the client.
Yes, yeah.
And
that's
for the oxidized hydroxide based, which is Urine Rescue. Is sometimes like not really strong, or we be thinking, you know, it's just, you know, under this, maybe sitting in the van for a long time, it lost, you know, activity ingredients inside. So we always carry a small amount and then put a big 5-liter bottles in, not really in the van, but we're still having that problem. So I was wondering if we have other chemicals which is stronger, like maybe, you know, over 10 or 20% of what you call it, hydroxide.
Hydrogen peroxide, yes.
Yeah, hydroperoxide.
Yep.
Does it gonna cause any damage on a carpet or?
Yeah, well, with all those products, really, you should pre-test. I've used a lot of products with hydrogen peroxide and a low, I think it's 12.5%, the product that we sell here, a low mixture with a high alkaline detergent to sort of get that reaction for, you know, some of the more difficult to remove color stains. So you could buy hydrogen peroxide, but you need to be a little bit careful, and pre-test is probably a very good idea. I'm not too sure about how some of those products go on the you know, sort of stain master, your stain treated carpets. So you want to be a little bit careful around that. So know your carpets and know what you can put on to each one. Some of those nylon carpets nowadays don't react well to having high pHs and too much heat and a few other things. Have you been along to one of our Ascend courses, are you sure?
No, this is the first time to come.
Yeah, we have quite a good stain removal course, and if you want to step up to IICRC later, there's a lot of information on there on picking your carpet types and making sure that you know what you can put onto those different types of carpets, different types of yarn work quite differently. I use wool for a lot of my sort of demonstrations because it was the predominant carpet when I first started, but that's probably not the case nowadays. You guys, perhaps out in the provinces, do you find there's still a lot of woolen carpet around, or not really?
No, it's mainly just the dye nylon
Yeah.
towels.
Yeah, well, of course, the selling point for a lot of people with either eco-strand or nylon for a lot of carpet salesmen is that you can pour anything onto it, but that's not really the case. You need to know what each different product is. And rental properties, it's pretty difficult trying to figure any of that out. So you kind of you have to make your way. But pre-testing, you could use a little bit of hydrogen peroxide in conjunction with maybe some sort of a general spotter, a high alkaline detergent. What I'd be inclined to do is perhaps have a go at these specific treatments. You've got boffins sitting in laboratories for a long time trying to figure out what the best way is of removing these marks and odors. So give them the benefit of the doubt. I know the people that I've spoken to that have used Unduzit Unleashed, they're pretty pleased with the way that it works. Again, sometimes you have to know when to stop if a carpet's just had too much of a hard time from pets or even in a rest home. If it's in a rest home situation where you have humans who are a little bit incontinent or whatever, that sometimes it's just time for replacement, isn't it? But if you know when to stop, know how to use those new products that are out on the market, I think you'd be a mug if you didn't try to sell that onto your customer. I could have a chat with you later on there, Sean, about that. Any other questions, Sean?
All good.
Fantastic. Nobody else got anything they'd like to add or ask? I can't see anybody going for the mute.
Sorry,
Margaret.
I'm just I do have one because the demonstration was mainly on carpet.
Yes.
What are the sort of things like curtains, sort of fabric materials type thing rather than carpet?
Yeah, good point. Curtains have never really been my speciality. Do you have a specific curtain cleaning tool that you use?
Oh, sorry, I don't come from a restoration background. I actually work for an insurance company. So just trying to understand.
Margaret, sorry, yes, so Margaret, I did see on the list. I'm guessing that people who specialise in curtains should have that sort of ability to put a product on and extract it. And I'm not 100% sure as to whether these products would work. Maybe an ozone or a hydroxyl machine. If you have a major sort of odor problem, actually purifying the air is probably a good way to deal with other sort of loose fabrics like that. They're a bit more, they can be susceptible to damage. If you're spraying things onto them and trying to extract them, taking them off and washing them is always an option, but there's lots of problems there if they're thermal backed and all that sort of stuff. So maybe odor control specifically. I think we're trying to organise an odor control course at the moment. It's quite specific getting into those things, either with as I say, hydroxyl machines or ozone machines. You need to have a little bit of extra knowledge about that sort of stuff. Anybody here done a IICRC odor control course? I can't see too many hands going up there either. It's
It did one fire and smoke, and it does have an odor component
Yeah.
to it.
yeah. And so with what you might call soft furnishings like curtains, did it go into that as well, or was it mainly?
No,
door
and a lot of the problem we find here in our region is that the age of the curtains,
Yes.
they've got the UV light damage, and
Yep.
so we won't touch them without an insurance claim and process because of that. Because even
Yeah.
just laundering them or putting an upholstery tool on, oh, okay, well that's gone.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the age mainly.
Yeah, half the curtain goes up the pipe. I'm guessing Margaret there. Yeah, are you with state insurance? Was that? Did I read that right? Margaret, you're an assessor?
No, I used to be a loss adjuster, so
Gotcha.
I have come across some claims where there's carpets, but also I did this one years ago for, I think it was wedding dresses,
Right.
which is why I kind of asked about the curtains, because that was quite.
With fabrics. Yeah. You're breaking up just a little bit there, Margaret. Yeah, fabrics are always a difficult one. And,
yeah.
and,
so, I mean, because as a loss adjuster, we were trying to find. Yes.
Yeah. What Dion was saying there about fabrics themselves is you can destroy the hand of them, and I don't know about you, but I wouldn't be keen on working around all those pleats on wedding dresses. That sounds like quite a specialised thing. Maybe dry cleaners or something like that might be better. But yeah, oh good. Oh well, I hope that helped you there, Margaret. Well, we might move on. Let's get back to it. And I'm guessing that everybody's got work on for the afternoon. No extra questions for anybody? Is there something that perhaps we didn't cover?
Just had I guess a confirmation question, if I may. Just with the Unduzit Unleashed, does it actually actively work on treating some of that staining as well, or does it specifically focus on the odor?
Yeah, no, it's what they call it. It has all the action. So whereas you might have used a different product for the odor and then one for the stains, it's supposed to take care of them both. I think that uses hydrogen peroxide in it as well. I can't quite remember the chemical composition of it, but from what I've seen, from what I did, it seems to just remove colour very quickly. So not sure if you've perhaps got an old woolen carpet that's been in the house for 10 years and perhaps it's been a little bit damp, and everything gets very, very fixed, or you've had somebody who's not a very good cleaner come in and have a crack at it before you get there. That can be a bit of a problem. But Josh and Amanda, you've had success with older colour marks there?
Varying success. I mean, again, going back to the curtains, a lot of the carpets we get to are 15, 20 years old wool, and the UV lights destroyed it. Sometimes that can lighten it, but a UV on it, but it's set in so much, and it's with empty rentals, it's really hard to know what the tenants used on it. They go to the supermarket and go to Dr. Google and put everything on the stain, and then you get there and they said they've only put water on it, and you've got a massive ring with a water stain, and it just creates other issues. But we haven't noticed it. But again, we don't know how long the stain's been there.
I'm guessing you've just got to inform your customer that, well, I have this product and it's really good at doing this up to a point. Sometimes marks are permanent, and give them the opportunity when you're doing your pre-inspection to say, hey, look, if you'd like to spend some extra money on this, I can try this, but there's no guarantees. It's always pretty tough getting that no guarantee point across to some people, but most people will, if you give them a figure for doing a certain job, and if you've been in business for a while, you kind of figure out really what things are going to come out and what things might be a little bit more difficult. So put the ball in your customer's court, and I mean, you could try a guarantee thing where you say, well, look, I won't charge you if it doesn't work, but I mean, if you're putting expensive product on, that's going to cost you in the end. So keeping your customer informed about costs and how it might affect them, and its efficacy or how it will work. Keeping them informed about that's probably really, really important. Really important. Oh, there we go, Dion. Got your hand up.
Yep. You mentioned that the Unleashed product doesn't require rinsing and it continues to work. What problems potentially could you run into by leaving it and not rinsing it?
I'm guessing that some people have said that I read after I made the video that it can leave, and they said especially on woolen carpet, it can leave a sticky residue. And I don't know about you guys, but I've had that sort of problem happen with Urine Rescue and other products, aggressive stain removal treatments where they do leave a residue on the top that's a little bit sticky, and of course it cleans everybody's shoes, and so you end up with a mark, you know, where there was none straight after you had cleaned. So I'm guessing maybe a light rinse might be a good idea. But if you've got a good relationship with your customer, what I'd be tending to do is, I'm guessing maybe giving it a light rinse would be a good idea because you're cleaning the rest of the carpet anyway, generally speaking. But leaving them aware of the fact that there is a product on there which you've left there, so the colour should reduce. You know, if there's a little bit of a stain left, the colour should reduce a little bit more. But if you have any problems at all, call me and I'll come back and sort it. You know, so just communicating with the customer what could happen is probably the best thing you can do. You know, I don't know about you guys, but the customers myself have had problems with in the past. If I've come back and dealt with that problem afterwards, those customers will never leave you because they know you've done the best job possible, and you've carried out a fix on something you might have made a mistake with, or something that's reoccurred, or stains come back up, or whatever. People are very, very happy about having tradesmen working on their properties who do things like that. Alrighty. Oh, that's good. Everybody's had a bit of a conversation in there. Nothing else. No. All good. Well, Joe Timaru working this afternoon. It looks like it's been a long smoko break for you. You all got jobs to go off to. Oh, good on you. Well, look, I might leave it there. If you think of anything else later on, send us an email. You know where we are. If you go to contacts on our website, you'll be able to see it there. We'll also send you a link through to a YouTube channel which we're setting up at the moment. Maybe you can subscribe to that and you'll get a note from that if we put anything new up. And once I get my on stage persona right, we might make a few more of those. Oh, and don't forget that 20% off. You'll get an email from Eden shortly. She'll offer you some good deals. All right then, guys. Well, thank you very much for coming in today.
Thank you.
We shall live with it, and we'll see you next time. Thank you very much, guys. Cheers. Goodbye.
Yeah.